What is up, RzJones18 people? Well, a little bit's changed since the last time we have had conversation. I have kind of reworked my ideas since the last time we talked, in the video where we talked. And, I'm no longer doing a good guy, bad guy shelf. And that is because, it's September. Let's get back into Masters. And that's exactly what happened. I did something about a week and a half ago, and I am not almost, I'm getting there to where I'll be satisfied with the line. But come, hopefully by the end of October, after the month of October, I'll have everybody I want, and the line will be complete, and I'll be happy. And that'll be my fulfillment for the rest of the year, figure-wise. The last piece I'll be getting is in late December, beginning of the new year, which will be my Christmas present, which will go with my other big piece. So back to what I was talking about. So Masters of the Universe, specifically Origins. As you guys know, back in 2020, this was my favorite figure / line of that year. It brought me into a line that I never really had any interest in, and gave birth to this. And if you guys recalled, I had a massive collection going into 2021. Due to circumstances, a lot of that collection is gone. Two figures still remain from that collection in my collection, which are the Battle Armor Skeletor and He-Man. I was not going to give those up. But unfortunately, due to circumstances, I lost a lot of big pieces of my collection, some figures I loved, and it sucked. It really did. And so, I was kind of weaned off of Masters of the Universe after that point. And then Revelations came out, and I really enjoyed it. I haven't bought any of the Revelation figures. I did buy 2 of the new Eternia figures, and I love them both. However, one new Eternia figure is now hitless because I've incorporated it into my Origins line, which I wanted to point this out. If you are a Masters of the Universe Origins Masterverse collector, I know that there was a big, not issue, but more of like a debate in the fact that the Classics heads cannot be used on the Origins bodies, like if you want to use those. However, I will just go ahead and show this now. So here is the Battle Armor Skeletor from Origins, and I'll take the head off. The ball joints on the Masterverse heads are the same size as the Origins heads. So you can technically take, this is from the new Eternia Skeletor, you can use these heads on these bodies and they function. So if you are using Masterverse, you can use parts from the Masterverse line on your Origins figures to amp up your figures if you want to. That is what I did with my Skeletor. So the 2 heads that he came with, the grimacing one and the smiling one, I thought they looked okay. I do think the dark purple works a little bit better with the dark purple on the armor itself. So that is what I did for Skeletor. So that just leads into it. I'm not collecting Origins again. I've accrued 12 figures, 2 vehicles, and the piece. The piece de resistance to match it all together. Some of these figures I acquired through Toy Department here in Fairfield. Some of these required for my work over at Jungle Gyms International. And so I'll let you guys know where I got what and, how it bargained out to be really good deal. This all started also because I had a figure that I just didn't want to have anymore. I have my one hot toy that I love and never getting rid of, and that would be my Iron Man. And so, I did have Spider-Man from No Way Home in the black and gold suit, but it just didn't fit accordingly in my collection, and so I got rid of him and a version of Mando and Grogu, because I want to get a better version of the 2 of them to represent my shelf in my collection. And when I did that, It paid for the majority of this. I think in total afterwards I paid like $12.87 for the rest of it after it was done. It was insane what I came home with on that day. So we'll look at that stuff first, and then we'll go to Toy Department. So onto Jungle Gyms. So at Toy Department, I was able to buy loose. I bought Fisto. I was able to get Battle Armor Skeletor. He does come with those two heads. My biggest issue is that the one side with this boot is super loose. Like, he stays in there, like the boot stays in there, but it's super loose. So it's hard to get him to stand. Luckily, I got something he can sit on, so he doesn't have to worry about that. Jitsu wasn't. The Lords of Power Merman came from Toy Department. And Cronus. It was a loose figure I got. And clearly he's from the Rise of Evil 2-pack. I'm going to get the Rise of Evil 2-pack because I do not like how loose his legs are. So he will eventually just become a parts figure. Like, I'll use him like for sparings. Because like the boots are fine, the arms are fine, and the torso is fine. I can definitely use these for other reasons. I can already see a Mechanic custom maybe in my future until we know we're getting Mechanic next year. But those are all the Toy Department ones. I'm saving the other big toy. Well, that's not true. I'm saving the big one for last. The other piece I got was the first vehicle. I did not have him in the original time I got this line. So this is Panther, the non-flocked version. I have really reconsidered going back and getting the flocked one. They have one at Toy Department. I've really thought about it. For the time being, I don't mind them. But here were the two pieces that I knew that if I started collecting these guys again, this was how I was going to get both of these characters. I'm so glad I did it this way. So let me move the Jungle Gyms guys out of the way. Okay. So the next one I got, now this set is now becoming very easy to get. It was a Target exclusive, but now you can find this set practically everywhere. I know at Ollie's they're selling this set for like $20. When I got him, he was $25, which is really cheap in my opinion. And it is the Battlefield Warriors 2-pack of He-Man and Battle Cat with the display stand and the little gargoyles. And I'm so glad I did it this way because I finally have my preferred head for He-Man, which is the toy head. I love the way he looks. I love the vac metal armor for the battle armor stuff. I am going to end up buying the regular versions of both He-Man and Skeletor. But I knew my first way back into Masters with these two was definitely battle armor because it's my preferred version for both figures. And so there is the vac metaled and the Drumworks, which is awesome. And he comes with the full sword, Alcala style, and actually holds in his hand, which is awesome. Which boggles my mind because Target did the exclusive 2-pack with Keldor and Cronus, and that sword can't be held in Keldor's hand. I just find that funny. But he looks amazing. I'm very happy with him. He comes with an extra hand and the more suede-haired version of the head. Now, to me, the highlight, He-Man's awesome, but is this version of Battle Cat with the matte red on the armor. I think this looks infinitely better than the cheap red on the original version that I had. I like the battle scars. They don't look the best in my opinion, but I love the fact that he's worn and torn, and it's so good having both Panther and Battle Cat in the display. Here are the little dragons that the set come with. These were the color of the original Battle Cat. I like these for these. And then you get this display base for Battle Cat and He-Man. But if you recognize it, it's a very off green. And that's because apparently whenever you buy more vehicles, they come with these off green pieces, and they go with a extra piece that I have. Now I'm going to again say that for last. The other thing that came with that was the Temple of Darkness Sorceress, the all-white version. And I have actually decided in my canon with my collection, she will be standing on my Evil Warriors display. And I'm getting the regular Sorceress to stand with these. I think it's cool to have the multiverse, and obviously Masterverse has that. So she is the evil version of Sorceress that stands with Skeletor. In my headcanon, when in an alternate universe, Evil Lyn is not with Skeletor, is in fact the opposite, and Evil Lyn works for He-Man, and the Sorceress gave Skeletor the power of Grayskull, and the battle armor version is his alternate version of himself. And so she will be standing with her partner, Skeletor, on my Evil Warrior shelf. Just my headcanon. Obviously, I'll have both versions. And then the 2000X version of Evil Lyn would stand with my He-Man, whereas the regular one would stand with my Skeletor. I like the comparison and side by side. If I could get both Beastmen, it'd be the same way. The Lords of Power one would be with He-Man, and the regular one would be with Skeletor. Alternate universe stuff. I think it's cool. Marley, lay down. You're fine. Now on to the Jungle Gyms figures. There are, I think in total 6 from there. One more will be coming from there, and that's the Sorceress. The other one they have over there is Anti-Eternia He-Man, and I just don't want them. The other vehicle over there that I want is Stridor, so I will be getting Stridor and then getting another Stridor to paint for the Night Stalker change. But from Jungle Gyms, I will go ahead and just get this goofy thing on them, because it is goofy. Is one of my favorite vintage figures, finally in my collection, is the Buzz-Off. Again, I will never display him with the goofy helmet. It's cool he comes with it, but it's a goofy helmet. And the other thing I've heard, I'm going to go ahead and take his hand off so I can talk about this. So, I was watching Pixel Dan's reviews. He had issue with the weapon holding on both Buzz-Off and Clawful for their weapons. Now, if you look at the hand, it is indented. You just have to maneuver it in, and it does click into place, and the thing doesn't drop. So it does work. I don't know if it's just, depending on the figure that you get. But when you do, let me pop it in. Pop that back in. He doesn't drop his weapon, which is awesome in my opinion, because that was my biggest issue with the original figures, that he couldn't hold his weapon very well. The wings work exactly the same, so they have that little peg on the back. You can twist these and take them off if you want to. But why would you? I mean, it's Buzz-Off. He deserves his wings. Now, my other big thing I've run into this time, running in with Origins, it's really noticeable on Kronos, but he's an older figure. He was a loose figure. I kind of had that going into it. Skeletor was brand new right off the blister card, and he had that loose boot. I think it's Battlecat that has one that has a loose knee, and some of my figures have really loose legs, unfortunately, but they stand really well, and so it doesn't bother me as much. I know once I get newer versions of these characters, like a new Trapjaw, which I'm getting the mini comics version of Trapjaw, then they'll be fine. But that was the first one, which was Buzz-Off. Love this figure. The other one that I love as a vintage figure, I'm really glad I have him here, is Clawful, and obviously the claw works. Not as strong as I wish it was, like to hold people or their weapons. But again, he holds his mace very well, and he stands fine. I love the way he looks. So that's Clawful. The next one is Origins Stratos, which is the mini comics version. I know it's not the gray one, which one everybody prefers, but I'm going with what I can find. And I can definitely find Origin Stratos in the mini comics version. And I like it, actually. I like it a lot. So, I have my Stratos for my collection. Now, my one complaint with Stratos in both the regular and in the mini comic version is I wish it came with the Staff of Avion, but alas, it hasn't happened. Maybe down the line we'll get another version of Stratos with a staff. It's sucked out to buy another figure, but hey. Another one of my favorite pieces is Jitsu, and I'm getting another Stridor to go with him as Night Stalker. I haven't decided. I'm just going to use 2 Stridors, and one's good, one's bad. I haven't decided yet. But that way I have a Strido for Fisto and a Strido for Jitsu. And he looks awesome. I love the vac metal on the hand. They both look great. I love them very, very much. We'll save that one for last. So here's the other one. Now, Amazon is promoting the Horde Trooper. Now, it didn't come with mine, so I don't know what happened, but here is the Horde Trooper. Really, really cool. I want 3 more of these to have 4 altogether to go out with a random big bad to fight off the main people. I'm also getting 4 Eternia and Palace Guards to go with the castle, 2 to be with the castle, and 2 to go out on patrol if they need to. He was promoted to come with the Bowcaster, and he doesn't. Now, I think the Bowcaster should only be with big league villains in the Horde, including the red and black Horde Troopers, which I hope we get as standard releases. I think we should. Possibly, maybe. He does not stay together very well, like up top. Like, if you do it right, he'll stay there, but it's very, very loose, and it's very easy to do that. I wish this was a little bit looser, so that way he would wobble gobble. But alas, Horde Trooper, it's good to have a Horde Trooper. Like I said, I want to get 3 more of the Horde Troopers. I'll probably get them from work, to be honest, and I'll have 4 of those all together. Now the big one for me is this guy. I'm so happy to have him, which is Sunman. I recently watched the interview that Pixel Dan did on Sunman, and I love this. I love these characters. I think this is a cool concept to use the Masters of the Universe bodies and create a new story. My big 2 favorites are him and Pighead. I think Pighead looks awesome. So it just adds another faction to the history of Masters, and it adds another faction to collect within the line. So I definitely want the main 3 heroes and the main 3 villains: He-Man, She-Ra, and Sunman, Skeletor, Hordak, and Pighead. I definitely want all 3 of them represented on my shelf. So I have He-Man and Sunman, Skeletor. I need She-Ra, Hordak, and Skeletor, and She-Ra and Hordak. And I'll have all 3. So 3 for each side, which is awesome. Now, the big piece. The piece de resistance. Now, I did have the vintage version of this and Snake Mountain, but again, due to circumstances, I do not have them anymore. And so I was like, well, if I can't have this piece, I'm not going to collect these guys. You need one of these with your figures. It doesn't feel right without having it. And I did. I got him. I got it. It's right here. And I love it. Oh, I love it so much. It's my Castle Grayskull, and the one I had before had nothing, basically. It had the ladder and a couple other nicks and crannies, but it wasn't this. It wasn't complete with the laser turret and everything inside. I mean, it just... anything fall? No. The ladder fell. But I mean, like, you get the ladder, you get the training dummy, you get 2 versions of the weapons holder, you get everything. Now, the one piece that obviously I know is missing from this, and thanks to, convention and stuff, the Spirits of Grayskull pack has the suit of armor. And my thing with that is I want the spacesuit, but I don't need the spacesuit. I am not a hardcore Masters of the Universe fan. I love Origins, and I love myself getting back into the cartoons and all that stuff. I do not need the spacesuit. Would it be a cool addition? Absolutely. A new figure that I've never owned in any version. It'd be cool. But it's behind a $140 paywall with the Spirits of Grayskull set that I found on Amazon, and that's one of the best ways to get it is through there because it's sold out on BBTS. And so, unfortunately, I don't want the full set. I've watched Dan's review, and I would love a Great, but it doesn't click in very well. I think the Spirit of Grayskull is cool, but I'd rather have the flag up and not that. And I'd be doing it for a figure that doesn't really fit in that slot for the spacesuit. So I feel better in just not doing it. There are exclusives I want to get, but I am holding off on those until I can find a way to do it in a better way. The big one for me would be the Horde Trooper 4-pack from PowerCon. I would really want that because I want that version of Hordak, the Grizzlor, and you get the 2 Horde Troopers. That to me would be a great way to knock off 4 figures off my list because I would get two of the Horde Troopers I need, and I would get Hordak and Grizzlor. So it's a patient game right now. I do know that putting myself back in this position of collecting these guys again, I know figures that I really, really wanted back last year will be harder to get. I got really lucky when I got the Lords of Power version of Merman, Buzz-Off, Jitsu, Fisto. I got lucky. I got lucky with Grayskull. The Walmart that was nearest to me closed, so a lot of this stuff is harder to find. I mean, Meyer's getting some stuff, but they're not actively, putting in new stuff for Masters over there. I have to go check them, obviously. But thank God, Toy Department, they've been getting in Grayskulls almost a week. Every week now, they get at least one Origins Grayskull. And so, I can always go there. I know they have Roboto. I really want Roboto. Trapjaw, I got very lucky in the fact they're doing the mini comics version. So I know I can get him. I want to get the entirety of Wave 10 because I know that wave's going to be ridiculously hard to get come aftermarket and after this year because King Randor will go way up in price. The 2 figures I can guarantee myself will be the hardest to find are going to be Manny Faces and Orko. Those will be the 2 hardest figures to find. And I've accepted that, and I will try my best to work with because I can get Scareglow on Amazon. Granted, he is $20 more than I want to spend, but you work with what you work with. On top of that, Amazon, dude, if you were collecting Origins, highly recommend Amazon. Freaking things I do that are insanely cheap. The Wind Raider is $14, I think, $13.49, I think. Clamp Champ, $14. You can go in there and get the vintage version of Skeletor and He-Man. Highly recommend Amazon if you're looking for Master stuff. I know I'll be ordering a little bit from Amazon. I'm going to be doing a hodgepodge of doing my work, Amazon, Toy Department, and Check Meyer. Like those 4, I hope will gather up what I need because I know on Amazon I'm getting through Big Bad I'm getting Tila and Zor, and that's how I'm getting my Tila back. The other one's going to be really hard to find is Man at Arms, which sucks. But I'll get them. And to correlate with all this, it kind of fits perfectly. For my birthday this year, I am going to be getting the Mega Construct Snake Mountain to go with my Grayskull. And that'll be my big birthday Lego that I do every year. And so, yeah, I'm just happy. I haven't really collected many lines this deep, this quick in a while. Lego really predominantly took over last half of 2021, going into 2022, and then, inflation happened. And I've been very selective of the sets I want now from Lego, and it resulted in this happening. I acquired 2 Grail pieces this year, which to me is always a win. I got the Mos Eisley Cantina, and I got my first hot toy, which is a die-cast Infinity War Mark 50 Iron Man. And those, much like Batmobile, Grayskull, Voltron, you know, those are Grail pieces. Those will never leave my collection. They will always travel with me wherever I go. And, you know, Masters Origins, I want to be the same. I love this line. I did not realize how much I love Masters until I stopped collecting. And it's weird. But I'm really happy to have Grayskull back. They have a vintage Snake Mountain at Toy Department for a really good deal. So I've been debating that for a while. You know, it's going between the Mega Constructs or the vintage one for my birthday, and I definitely want a Snake Mountain to go with my my Master stuff. So it's a debate right now. But I got everything back out. My Mega Constructs figures are back out. I took down and looked at my Mega Constructs Grayskull. I'm so happy back in the Masters. And as a collector now, I want 2 Classics figures. I want 2. Only 2. And they are the Super 7 Ultimates figures. They have them at Toy Department. But I also take these figures loose. I want regular He-Man. And I want Skeletor. I want the OG2. That's what I want for my Masters display. Are the 2 Classics versions, because then I would have vintage, Origins, Classics, and Masterverse of He-Man and Skeletor. I'd have every version minus 2000X and New Adventures. But I would have every version of He-Man and Skeletor to that point, which I know I can get 2000X He-Man and Skeletor from Toy Department as well. But I want a shelf dedicated to just He-Man and Skeletor. So, it's a game in progress. I'm working on it, but Masters is back. And with that being said, back in 2021, I did a review of Masters of the Universe Origins Standard He-Man. We're picking right back where we left off. So, starting, I want to say, midway through October, I want to get the collection a little bit bigger. I will be continuing on with my Masters of the Universe Origins reviews. They will comprise of both live stream reviews and of standard video reviews. Live stream reviews will be for basically big wave buys. Like when I buy a wave of figures, they will be reviewed all together. But then individual reviews, like everybody here, this, obviously Castle Grayskull, will all be videoed and recorded and put up on the channel that way. So, yeah, we're picking up right where we left off. I'm very, very, very excited. So, yes, guys, Masters of the Universe Origins, welcome back to the channel and enjoy the ride because I'm ready for it as well. You have the power, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.